Hey guys, this is Tommy from the Ravens Creek study, and we're looking at the pre-tribulation rapture. This is another argument that I have against the pre-tribulation rapture. It's not necessarily an argument against it, but just one of those questions like, okay, so can we say God's character changes? If we cannot say God's character changes, then I guess the question then becomes, does the pre-tribulation rapture uh, keep and preserve God's character through the entirety of it? If yes, great. If not, why? And if not, can we then hold to it? In all honesty and fairness, can we still hold to it then? So, if we say that God is unchanging and quote verses like Hebrews 13:8, then why do we say that God's long-suffering, mercy, compassion, and other quote kind attributes cease to exist upon the wicked world? You know what I'm? Do you understand what I'm getting at? You have a certain moment when the church is raptured that suddenly God's wrath ensues, and no longer is there long suffering, mercy, or compassion upon the wicked world. No longer is it God causing the rain to fall upon the righteous and the wicked. What happened? Did God's character change? If not, then what happened? Is God no longer acting in long suffering, mercy, or compassion, or is he still acting in long suffering, mercy, and compassion? It's just not in the same way. And if it's not in the same way, why? Do you understand what I'm getting at? I have even heard in regard to hell that God is long suffering only until the judgment comes, and then our time has run out, and God is no longer long suffering. I've heard this. So why does God change? It's critical to believe in God's character, for what else do we have? It's critical to believe that God doesn't change and that he does have the good character. If he doesn't, then why do we even hope? If God can somehow practice justice in a manner different than he practices it here and now, then which is true? Which is the true character of God? His justice that seems unjust or his justice that seems just? Which one's really the character of God? If he's merciful only to they who are righteous at the end of the age, then how can we understand Matthew 5:49, that we're supposed to be like our heavenly Father who's, righteous and merciful to both the righteous and the wicked? Should we forsake having compassion and blessing our enemies, praying for those who persecute us, simply because there will come a time when God shall send wrath and judgment? Do you get the point? Do you see the bigger reason as to why I'm asking this? It's not simply God's character, but then also it leads straightway into how we should act and react. It might be convenient to put self first, but we're supposed to be of a faith that puts God and his purposes first and foremost, and not ourselves. That means preserving the name and honor of God rather than speaking out of both sides of our mouth. Now, this can be said of both future and present. Presently, it is said that they who don't believe in the pre-trib rapture will not be raptured. Now, how convenient that you have the winning ticket and no one else in the body will obtain unless they be like you. Now look, if you say that those who don't believe in a pre-tribulation rapture won't be raptured, on what basis can you say that? Scripturally, on what basis? Either you're part of the church or you're not. If you're part of the church, you're going to be raptured. If the pre-trib rapture is true, if you're part of the church, you're raptured, whether you believe in it or not, because it's by grace that you're saved, and not of works or belief. And if it's of grace, then tell me, by what means can you be supplanted? By what means can you be taken away? And suddenly, do you get what I'm asking here? This is asking the fundamental question of whether God is truly who he says he is, or whether we have to make up a God in order to make sure that our theology continues to be preserved. That's the question. Does the pre-tribulation rapture really suggest God is always the same, yesterday, today, and forever, or does he have to change? That's the question. Personally, I haven't dealt with too many people who believe to a pre-trib rapture who would suggest that God doesn't change. And so that scares me. It causes me to question then both their theology and their God. So I guess this is a bit of a word of warning as much as it's a question. So until next time, I hope that this challenges you in a positive way, helps you to reconsider even some of your own thoughts, not just in the pre-trib rapture, but in everything. Is God truly the same yesterday, today, and forever? Or even in the post-trib position, is there possibly ways that you have forsaken God's character for the sake of your theology? That's a dangerous thing to do. Until next time, I bid you farewell.